Hey, what's up? Hey, you have to fill out a review of this morning's activities.
These forms are on your
Give them to Jasmine. Just right now. Right now. At the end, by the end of the day. All right, let's get ready to rumble. We're on live. Clap your hands if you can hear my voice. Clap your hands 2 times if you can hear my voice. Clap your hands 3 times if you can hear my voice. All right, rock and roll. Good morning, everybody. So today is a very exciting day for all of us because it's snowing, but also because we're going to have our first experience with Ajax. Trey.
Asynchronous JavaScript.
That's right. So Ajax stands for Asynchronous JavaScript and XML. So let's think about that. Well, we know what asynchronous means, right? We're talking about like things that aren't happening, not at the same time together, right? And then we've also got JavaScript, which we've grown to know and love. And then we have XML. What's that? Well, go, Trey, a little bit louder. Yeah, so XML is Extensible Markup Language. What's that mean? I don't know. It's all right. Not the most important thing to specifically know what that definition is. We'll learn how to use it. We'll know what we're doing. It when we make this, we're going to learn XML HTTP requests, and what that's going to allow us to do is all those APIs we've been looking at, where we've been typing into Postmates and getting some data back. Now we'll be able to send out this request from our JavaScript file and say, hey, give me the goods, and then we're going to get back some kind of object that we'll want to eventually turn into JSON, and then we'll be able to do stuff with it already. So we won't have to go to some external thing. We'll be able to call everything from where we are. So that's pretty exciting. I hope it's as exciting for you as it is for me. So let's get started. I'm gonna make a file here. I'm just gonna start from the beginning as if I didn't already have everything. So in variables, I'm gonna attach index.html. And there it is. And let's get our file started. You can follow along if you want. HTML tab. Let's call this Ajax or Ajaz. I kind of like that. They should have called it Ajaz. We should have found the acronym for Ajaz. And we can do our body. I'm going to start off with just a UL. And let's give this a little class. Say we're giving it movies. Okay, that's all we need. Let's link up, let's make a JavaScript file. So I'm going to say index touch index.js. And there it is. I know where it is. I'm going to connect to it inside of my head tag. I'm going to write a script. Or it should be mostly review here. I'm going to do source. And oops. Open up quotes. I'm going to say /index.js. And I'm going to open up that. Inside of here, just going to do a console. My hands are cold. Sorry if typing's so messed up. right, connected. I'm just gonna do this to make sure that I'm connected here, and I'm going to copy the full path, go over to a Chrome window, post it in. Okay, Command Option I to open up my develop. Okay, so I'm connected. My JavaScript file's connected. Big win, right? But something we've been doing for a few days now. No, I put a console log statement in my JS just to let me know. Great question. For anyone who couldn't hear, the question was if it always says connected. And I said no. Okay, so we're going to be writing JavaScript. We're going to want to refer to elements on the screen. What's something I'm going to start this file off with? Aileen, I kind of saw you throw up a hand. I don't know if you changed your mind. Yeah, you went like that.
No, it's the content.
DOM content loaded. Awesome. So Aileen says it's DOM content loaded. That's great. So let's do that. We're going to go document. Right, this is like something we should be getting used to doing. Add event. Did I spell that right? I guess. Okay, thank you. Well, we'll know for sure in a minute. And we'll say DOM content loaded. Let's throw in an anonymous callback function that we want to fire once the content's loaded. And just to make sure I've spelled everything right, I'm going to log content loaded. Or, yeah, I did. I spelled it right. Go back here. Okay, so the event must have fired because the console log isn't only going to fire if the event fires. So I'm good. Are we with me still? Do we understand like what I'm doing and why I'm just writing console log even though it's not really doing anything? Trey.
I understand what's going on, but let's say you put the script tag and HTML at the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Is that a common practice, or is it better to put it in the head?
Better put it in the head. It used to be, I think, more common or something, but it's like not what people.
We're gonna see this line of code more than.
Maybe there's a way to actually add async to the word in your script tag that now does that.
Oh.
But you probably will see this a lot in the wild, yeah. Okay, so we've done this console log purely to just check that my event's fired. So now let's get into the goods. Let's do this. So we're going to learn about XML/HTTP requests. So it's kind of magical, and it's totally, totally awesome. And it starts off with making a new XML/HTTP request object. So it's a constructor function. What?
What is XML?
Extensible markup language. So I'm gonna make a little variable called let. I'm gonna say XHR. This is what I see on like a lot of examples. It usually says like XHR, XML. I don't really know what XHR, like why people use that, but it's something I've seen like in a lot of places, so that's why I'm using it. Right? Just follow the herd. So we write our new, and we say XML HTTP request. Pay attention to the capitalization there. XML in all caps, just like when we did DOM content loaded, we now do XML HTTP request. So it's kind of the same thing. If you can remember DOM content loaded, you can remember XML HTTP request. And so now we've got this object. What to do? Well, let's find out. I'm going to preface this with, so this process of API calls is going to be a little bit confusing. Just one second. And that's okay. I've never had to use this in code. I like kind of like I learned it this summer better, and I brushed up on it last night because there's a lot of alternatives out there that do API requests that are a lot easier and prettier to work with and a lot more straightforward. And those are what I've typically worked with. A lot of us have probably heard of like jQuery. So jQuery has a call, like if I were to call, this API request, I would just write like $Ajax, and then I would write, you don't have to write this. This is just like, this isn't gonna help you. This is just to kind of see. And you would say like, oh, there's a method and I want to do a get method, whatever, capitalization didn't matter. And then there would be like the URL, and I would say, you know, something here. And then this would just go fired off because it's using the JavaScript library, which is doing like this XML/HTTP request under the hood. But you can see that this is not that ugly, this Ajax thing.
With the $sign.
That's a part of a jQuery thing. You like start pretty much every kind of thing in jQuery with a $sign.
So this request is a jQuery.
This Ajax is like what it looks like in jQuery, which drastically like took away a lot of this XML/HTTP request stuff because people just started using jQuery because it was so much prettier and easier. And so jQuery blew up in popularity, right? And now we have alternatives. Now we have something called Fetch, which does something like it's also built in. So Fetch is now built into JavaScript, and we'll have like a lesson on this too. But it's like you just write the word fetch, and this is a GET request, and then you say your URL inside. Whoops! It's like here's the URL thing. So this is even kind of easier. And then we also have something called Axios, which we'll be using a lot in this class because Fetch returns a slightly different format of data, and Axios does it a little bit better and has better error handling. So we end up using Axios.
So in terms of like actually definition of Ajax, right? So we have like languages like Python and JavaScript. So how do you define Ajax? Is it a language of its own, or is it like a whole library?
Well, I mean, it's an acronym, right? It's the asynchronous JavaScript and something XML. Yeah, but it's like what people generally say if they're talking about any kind of API request. At least that's been my experience.
What's the purpose of Ajax?
We are going to be able to go do those API calls from our JavaScript file, get data back at an asynchronous way, and then deal with that data as it comes.
Okay, so it's like Postman, but writing it actually in code.
Yeah, it's doing what Postman's doing for us, but we'll be doing it. Davey.
Question about that. Can you create some objects or can you create some class?
Yeah, this is a class. I mean, it's
XMLH class.
XML/HTTP request.
Right. Oh, that's a class.
I think so. Sorry?
It's being invoked.
Yeah, it's a constructor function.
Oh, I see.
Mateo?
Two things. So that means we're going to get back an XMLHttp request object if we console log it, and then two, you're saying fetch. Is that a JavaScript or that's a library?
That's going to be built in to JavaScript. That's already built in. Well, I think we'll probably hit fetch tomorrow or something. So if the whole point of that whole thing is like, if this seems confusing to you and like a lot to remember, don't let it stress you. It's great to learn, great to know it, but like there are easier ways that we will also be learning. This is just for you to be familiarized. Yeah, and we can console log here our XHR and see what's going on. See if we get something. And we refresh and we see, okay. Let me see if I can make that bigger. Oh God, this thing.
Oh yeah, fun.
Oh my goodness. Oh, there we go. Yeah.
As soon as you like get really, really frustrated, that's when it starts working.
Yeah. They've bugged my computer. Okay, so we've got this request object, and we've got all this random looking stuff on it. This here is a event listener, which we're going to learn in a second. If we look here, other thing to note is ready state 0. There are 5 stages of ready state. There are 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 0 means unsent. Okay? We haven't opened it up yet. Nothing open hasn't been called, which we'll see what that means in a minute.
Sorry. 0 means it's like on standby?
Unsent. Yeah, we just have this object that hasn't been sent to do anything. And we'll get to the next ready states in a minute, but I think it's going to be pointless to say them right now without seeing more.
And is ready state an event listener as well?
No, it's a attribute on that object.
It's a class.
XML HTTP request.
And one more clarification. So ready state on 0 means it's on sent, means that it's ready to be sent.
Ready state just means nothing has, well, it's specifically open has not been called, but we don't know open yet because we haven't seen it.
Does it take arguments?
I don't know. I've never seen it with someone passing arguments directly in.
Can you show one more time how you saw that in your console?
Sure, I did log, XHR, logged my variable. Oops, this should say console.log. Then I went over here and I refreshed my page, and it logged to the console. Very nice.
What
Eric,
do you call that? That result, what do you call that?
this is an XML HTTP request object. All right, let's not get too caught up on that. Let's just figure out how to use this baby. All right, so get rid of that. So now we can take our XHR and we can add a listener to it. And the way we add listeners to this is a little bit different than the way we've been doing it. But we're going to say XHR dot on ready state change, all lowercase like that. So this is a little bit different, right? Because we've been doing like add event listener. This is something for the XHR. And then we assign this to a callback function. So we write function. And when there's a change in our ready state, we are going to fire this callback function. Mateo.
We gotta use ES5 notation for it.
I don't know. I haven't tried it with ES6. This is like old way of writing stuff, so no.
This is kind of like the foundational way of writing it, right? Like, because you guys are going to see legacy code occasionally, it's still important to know this way, even if in the future we're going to be using slicker ways to go about
Yeah.
these calls.
Yeah, it's more. This is like. I mean, I don't want to quite say this, but it's like almost more like a little bit of a history lesson, like a glimpse into what they used to do in the good old days. You know, like we would go to a farm and we'd see people churning butter or something, but that's not how they're making butter now. But you still, it's like good to know that that's how people made butter. So you don't just go, oh, what's the big deal about butter? You know, so you appreciate butter because you're like, dang, that's a nice lot of butter. David.
I know you're doing like a bunch of what to do, but like, it's like that. What are we doing?
We are going to be making an API call. You'll see. You just kind of have to trust me a little bit here, but the goal is, you know, all those API calls we've been making and we've been copying and pasting data into our JavaScript file. We are going to make wherever we were getting that before, we're going to be doing that here. So we're not copying and pasting any garbage. We'll be getting the garbage directly into the site. Yeah, so this is like, oh my God, I'm so excited. Sorry if I'm going fast, I'm just pumped up. All right, so unready state is just gonna get fired. We can go into this in a second. I'm gonna show us what the next piece of information is that we wanna do, which is outside of this function, we can actually open up our XHR and we can say X hr.open. Now, open takes in a mandatory 2 arguments and an optional third. The first argument is the type of request we're doing. So I'm going to be making a GET request. The second argument is the API request call. So if we go to our documentation here, I have this. Ooh, Studio Ghibli. Have we seen this yet? Cool. Oh, not yet? Okay. Some of us are like, yeah, and then other people are like, nah. I don't think I went over it. So we're going to look and we're going, okay, films. And we're going to look, we're going to read the documentation kind of and go, okay, I think this is the link I need for films. I can even test this. I'm going to copy this, open up a new tab, paste it in. Okay, cool. So we get all of these Studio Ghibli films. Right, and we can see the object and go, all right, that looks tight. So we're going to go back to our Ajax.
Can you say what that was again? The link that you just pasted into the browser?
This is an API call.
API call.
Yeah, so we've actually been making a lot of API calls and we didn't even know it. So if any of us have linked to a picture on the internet in an image tag, that's not magic. That's your computer reads that and says, go get the picture at this address. Right? We probably didn't even realize it, but that is an API call. Yeah.
Tell me the 2 or 3 arguments that open method takes.
Absolutely. I haven't even got to the third one yet. The first one is going to be the type of method we're going to be doing, right? The RESTful API, what do we have? Get. Well, someone give me one and then we'll keep going. Get, I started off. Mateo, put, patch, delete, what else we got? Post. Okay. Get, pass, push, get, post, patch, put, delete, I think. There might be another one. I don't know. Those are like the ones we're dealing with on the red. So we're doing get here, and now I'm going to, in quotes, do the API link that I'm hoping to get my information from. And the third and final argument is the optional one, and this is, we can let it know if we want this to be asynchronous or not. So I do want it to be asynchronous, so I'm going to write true. Because asynchronous is tight, right?
Can you remind the advantage of doing asynchronous?
Sure. So Renat wants me to remind us of a little bit more about asynchronous. If we think back to that event loop video we watched, we saw that when something was asynchronous, it didn't block the call stack. It took the asynchronous function and moved it over to the web browser API so that the rest of the call stack could continue running. And then whenever this resolved, it could finally go into the callback queue and wait till the stack was empty to then finally fire off. Perfect.
By writing true, you said like, you don't have to wait until it's completed to run the rest of the code.
That is dead on. So we're not saying we are not having to wait for all of this data to come back before we run the rest of our code. If we have a console log and we have some other things we want to do, we can go do those. And whenever this is ready, it's ready, you know? It's like being in a relationship. Like, when are you going to be ready? And they're like, I'll be ready when I'm ready. It's like, all right, I will go do my own thing. You let me know when you're ready, and then I'll go do what you want to do. Mateo.
On an async, you wait until the data is back before you run the code. Would that be like, you said when you're doing already pictures? Is that like lazy loading pictures?
I don't know about lazy loading much. Crispina.
I'm still a little bit confused on what we're waiting on. Like, we're waiting for all that stuff to come in.
Yeah.
To us.
So it was pretty fast when we typed it into the URL, but there's no guarantee that it's going to be that fast. What if their server's down? What if we're going to somewhere else and we're waiting back for 1 million things? Could take a while. or not?
So the unready state change is the thing that's gonna tell us when it's ready, like when our request is ready.
Great. So onReady state change is an event listener, and it's listening for. If we remember that first XML object, I wonder if it's still in our console. We see ready state as 0.
Yes.
All right. There's 5 states. There's 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We can talk about each one as we go. But we're currently at 0 because open hasn't even been called. Now that open has been called, we actually change to 1, and then
Why do you need an event listener for this?
we'll get there. Bernat is eager. I love it.
So the unready state, the 5 states are ready state, timeout, the credentials.
No, ready states is just 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Okay.
Well, I promise we'll see it all. We're getting too caught up on details that aren't very exciting. We're gonna get data from the internet. Okay, this is like, and we're not gonna, like after today, you'll probably never write a request like this again. This is a history lesson, right? We don't care how much cream and exactly how long you had to churn it with how long of a stick. None of that matters because we're not making butter, right? We're gonna still go to the store and buy our butter, like the way we all get butter. Unless if you do make butter, like total props to you. Maybe Alex, you might. I know you were a chef, but like you know. So we're getting like a little caught up here on like the intricacies of this butter making process, right? I know history's really cool. A lot happened, but it's in the past. So let's keep going. Okay, let's do it.
The true means asynchronous, false means
Synchronous. So, yeah, okay. We're good. Let's keep going. So, on the last piece of information here that we need to do is it's called close, or send. I'm mistaken. It's xhr.send. Sometimes you'll see people write null in there. I don't think you have to. I don't know. We'll try it without. Okay, so, and then when send happens, we also change our ready state to opened, which is number 1. Send has been called. I have like a little note here because I haven't memorized this because it's a history lesson. And headers and status are available. That's when it becomes 2. 3 is loading, downloading. Response text holds partial data. And 4 is done. The operation is complete. So we're really looking for a 4. Jonathan Van.
If we're, so you said it's 0 to 2 and 4, and it's 4. Do we see like it change the 0 1? Do we see that progression?
Okay.
So quickly.
Can you say it with the word? Repeat.
I'm going to copy it into the Slack channel. I don't think reading it is as effective. Because I don't have it memorized either. I was just looking this stuff up last night to make sure, like, because I don't use this stuff. I'm like, I can do it.
Has been called and the headers and status are available. 3, it's loading. 4 is done.
Great. I've also just posted it in the Slack channel. If you can't remember Crispina's. Which part? This? Okay. Maybe I didn't click on it. Good? No problem. Yeah, let me know if you can't see. Okay, so I'm going to put in a console log right now. Actually, debugger. Nah, log. Log's enough. Log of XHR. All right, so I'm going to load the page. What do we think might happen? What are we expecting? I know we don't know. We've never seen it, but what might happen? Let's get a guess. What? Ready state's going to go to 1. Okay. What else? Who else? Any other guesses? Trey. Still going to be 0. You think there's going to be 2 console logs, or the number's going to be 2? The number's going to be 2. Okay, let's check it out. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Boom. 4 calls, right? Because every time there's a change in the ready state, it calls. So we can see here, we went from ready state to 1, ready state to 2, ready state to 3, and ready state to 4. We've made our request and successfully done something. Trey.
Did you say there were 5?
0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's fine. Do you have a question? Oh.
It
Go on.
went through the whole list, unset, open, and receive, loading, done.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but there's no data.
Oh, we didn't do anything with the data. There's data.
Yeah, you were saying every time there's a change in the ready state.
Mm-hmm. Our function, that function fires. So this is a listener. And so every time this changes, this function fires. And a console log then fired 4 times. Cool? All right, so let's throw in an if statement. And we'll say if XHR, because when is it done? When is it all done? When it gets to 4, it's done, right? So that's what we want. So when ready state, let me change that to the word ready. When ready state is equal to 4, we want to do something. Okay? So there's a couple situations, right? It's going to be done. So either we were successful, which gives back what kind of status? A success. No, not ready state. Think about yesterday. What was our status on a page when we were successful? 200. Let's do that. So I'm going to do another if statement. I'm going to say if XHR dot status is equal to 200. Now I'm going to throw in a debugger. See what's going on. Okay? You ready for this? Yeah. This gum goes stale so fast.
Can you just explain maybe one more time why you have the 200 inside of the 4?
Because I'm only interested in when ready state is done. I don't care about while it's doing opened or headers received or loading. I just want it done. And then if our, sorry? Well, it might not be. It's just whenever it's done, it's done. So if it's, and I only care if it's, for right now, if it's a 200. If I get a 404 error, status like 404, I might have it say like not found or something. But right now, the only time I've got data is when it's going to be a 200. Crispina.
Having the if statements like nested like that means that it's both happening at the same time.
In order to get to this if statement, you have to get to this if statement. It's like if you ever watched MXC, they'd have those 4 rows of doors with a bunch of random doors and you just run. But in order to get to the second set of doors, you had to make it through the first one and not into the fake door. If you haven't seen that, that's probably not the best example. Go look up MXC, it's pretty fun. But it's kind of like, all right, well, you've seen Harry Potter, right? Sorcerer's, no, haven't seen Harry Potter. All right, well, it's like you have to go to the Apple store to buy a computer. Otherwise, you don't have a computer, right? So if you're in the Apple store, then you might be able to end up with a computer. Otherwise, like, you can't just have a Mac. So we're going like, if you have to get through this gate before you could check on the next gate. Cool? Are we ready to see some action here? Yeah, let's keep going. I'm going to refresh. We hit our debugger. Who's excited to see what XHR is? Now, yeah, thank you. Okay, so that still looks pretty similar. That's fine. But what's let's take a look at XHR.response. Interesting. Does this look familiar to anybody? What's the data type of this right now? Let's be very, very careful here. Getting a lot of. All right, if you think it's an array, raise your hand. If you think it's an object, raise your hand. If you think it's a string, raise your hand. Oh man, we got a bunch of switchers. Yeah, so this is still a string, right? So we got to do something about that. So we know it's a string. So I'm going to, I'm going to do it all in here to check it out. So I'm going to do a function called JSON.parse. This is a JavaScript function that takes a string and converts it into what it's supposed to be here, JSON. So I'm going to do XHR, I should spell that right, XHR.response. And now when I hit enter, okay, who thinks this is an array?
It's an array.
Yeah, this is an array filled with objects, right? And when we open it up, well, these look pretty good. We've dealt with arrays of objects, right? We did that median age on the exam 1, I think, or average age. What was it? It was something with age. It's an array of objects, person objects. But these are movie objects. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so I can do JSON.parse XHR response, and I have this stuff all of a sudden. So let's do that. Let's go JSON.parse XHR.its response. And now I've essentially got all those things, right? So if I go let movies equal that, what's movies? Movies is an array of objects. Great. Very, very cool. So I'm going to go back to my index.html here. And I'm going to see, oh yeah, I have this UL called class with movies. Well, wouldn't it be cool if we could see all of the movies, like the title? Thomas, do you think it'd be cool? Or a question? Okay.
Will it always come out as a string?
Yes. With with XMLHttpRequest, I think it comes out as a string. It doesn't always then become an array. I was dealing with a friend of mine's thing, and it came out as an object. But then I did object.values and passed it in, and it worked. We can see that if we want. Alex?
Just for clarification, parse just pops off the quotation to the string.
Well, I mean, it does. Yeah. Essentially, that's what it's doing. You can't like just do that. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what it's doing. Yeah. Oh, the JS. Okay, so we've got a UL called movies, right? Well, I'm going to call this movie objects then, because I don't want to make it confusing. Movie objects. Okay, so what can we do? How do we grab those movies? How do we grab that UL? We've been doing it for a couple days. What was it? Boom. I like that. So I'm going to say let UL equal document. Got query selector, right? This should look a lot more familiar. And I'm going to do movies. So now we have, what is UL? What is this? Somebody throw up their hand. What is UL at this point in the program? Somebody I haven't heard from. Someone who's not 100% sure, but still feels like going for it. Someone gutsy. Yeah, Isa. It's a class? Okay. That's close. I mean, it's an HTML element. It's a node of that actual UL. Good guess. Love it. But this is a class. That's a class. But when we grab this here, we're grabbing this node off of our document. And so now we've got this node. Well, geez, what? How do we do this? How can we get every title from each movie object and put it into this UL? Any ideas to start? Key into it. Let's just rent. Well, we'll eventually have to key into it, right? But right now we're still with this array. Can you say it again? Let's loop through the array. Sure, let's do a for loop for fun. And we'll just say for let I equals 0 while I is less than I did. Movie. Too late. No pity laugh, please. And I go I plus plus. Okay, so right now, if I say movie object at I, what is this? Do we know? Let's take a look. So I'm gonna debugger. I'm gonna refresh our page here. We've hit our debugger. Let's take a look. Movie object at I. Oh, it's a single object. Interesting. I'm keying into this array. Yeah. I should have called it movie object arrays, bro. Array. I'll adjust that on the next. Okay, and then how can I get the title of this? Dot title we like? All right. I usually do everything in box form, but that's fine. Oh, so that looks pretty cool. Okay, let's do it. Let's do this. So let's create a new li. How can we do that? Let li equal, what do I need? Shell. Perfect. Document dot create element li. Cool. So let's give this li maybe an inner text, right? So I'll say li dot inner text. What's a good text? Right, yeah, so it's the movie object dot title, right? Whoops. I'll take that, put it there, say dot title. And now, how do I get that li attached itself to the UL? Append? I heard someone yell append. Trey, good job. I'm going to say ul dot append child li. Okay, are we still with me? What's this do? It appends a child node to a parent node. So it connects them. Alex?
The HTML file, did you change?
I just have this.
Oh, okay.
Any other remaining questions? Yeah,
I don't
Crispina.
understand what you mean by appends, the parent and child.
So inside of our UL, we want to have multiple LIs. LIs are the child of a UL because they're inside. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, okay. So when we append a child, it means take this element and put it inside of this other element. You're not?
Why did we need to wait for status to do all this stuff?
Because that means we've gotten back our data.
Why?
Because the status 200 means okay.
Oh.
So there's like all of these different statuses. Yeah, like 422 is unauthorized, 404 is not found, 500 is internal server error, 200 is okay, and I don't really remember the rest. There's like, I posted links to it yesterday, and it had like 100 different statuses. If you
Just a number we need to remember, symbolizing your API request
It's a good thing to, yeah, it's a good thing to remember. Again, we're churning butter here. So like, you're not gonna have to always check to status 200.
So it's at 200 specifically, or is it like?
It's 200. Those are good questions though. And it is good because like, you'll hear it like to be 200. I think there's something else I can do here too. Network. I think, where was it? I think there's something, XHR, and I can see that I've made a request from here. Status 200 type XHR.
Is that a communication with the server?
I don't know. I think so. Pretty sure. Any other questions on this little JavaScript here? Mateo? If we get snowed in, we learn fetch after this.
Yeah, it's okay.
So you better pray that it snows. Or not if you're one.
Somebody had multiple API calls. You go to that console at XHR. Well, this is all the APIs called.
So this is, I think this is just to send one at a time. There are things we'll learn about later called promises, and you could do promise.all, and they could all send an API call. But for now, we're just worried about one thing. Spina.
So after the for loop, we're looping through the query that we got, and then let li. I'm not sure what that line does.
This assigns a variable called li, and it's creating a new HTML element, a new node.
And then the one after that.
This assigns the inner text of that node to be our title of the movie.
Then we're putting the title of the movie in our HTML, so it's displaying.
We're going to see it as the text on the inside of this li.
Essentially, this saves from having a hard code like status.
Totally don't want to have to hard code. This is like saves us from anything. I mean, we can just go grab information. I mean, it's pretty amazing that we saw that array. I mean, we didn't clap and freak out, but maybe we'll get excited in the next after we get through this little round. Any of the other ones? Or
The very last line.
yeah, go for it.
What is it?
This sticks the li node into the ul node so that it becomes a child of the ul. Are we ready? Do we think it's going to work? Are we getting excited? Let's see it go. Boom. Amazing. Can you believe it? I mean, that's really exciting. This like allows us, this gives us so much possibility. Okay. So, your turn. So, okay, I'm gonna give us 20 minutes. So at 3:25, we're gonna go over, and our goal is to make a button. It's gonna be a button. There's nothing on the page. When you click on the button, you're gonna see all of the Pokemon names. So you're gonna have to go to the Poke API, find out how to get the Pokemon, and then you're gonna make a call only when that button is clicked, and then fill up the data. Okay? Yeah, asynchronous is also cool. I actually didn't really mention this. It allows us to get data without refreshing the page. It just repaints, it like adds things after the fact. Okay, any questions on the next 25 minutes? Mateo? You will go to the Poke API, find out how to get Pokemon. You will, on your HTML page, like, here, I'll show you our page. There'll be like a button that says click for Pokemon or something. You will click that button, and then you'll see a list of the Pokemon names. What? Well, that's a little less fun, but okay.
Oh, don't. It's fine.
I'll have it around here. I'll leave it on here. Okay? And I'll set it at the end for sure. Okay, got 25 minutes. On your marks, get set, go!
It's all like the raise your hand a second ago.
Yeah, so
It's just a random. I'm not gonna use it.
Oh, if X ignore them. Oh, no, you go back.
Oh, I got it, thank you. I just like you. Yeah. First draft.
That's a great question. So that question is about like what's faster, right? Having a lot of information or maybe request or that kind of information. Usually the answer to that, if you don't have too much data, is sometimes if you have like tons of data, I use it can be but yeah, that's like that's really it's work. In the same manner. All right, what's your error? Boundary property of pen child and all. Okay, you well done pen child, right? The document query selector. So let's go to your index. Okay, so we have to have a UL in there. Right now, it's just trying to.
Who said that?
$25 per program. So I'll help you out. So. We're going to need to. Not much.
Well, how much is
Version 1 is.
It says.
Yeah, it says.
Because it's
a way to try it.
Fun again.
Yeah.
It's easy to that.
Yeah, it's just Pokemon. Inside Pokemon, you want to go to Pokemon.
Oh my gosh.
Is it catalog number 10?
Inside Pokemon, you want to go to Pokemon. That will tell you how to.
They can if they want to.
How to get that address. So we're doing the get part.
No, it's still a little. No. I mean, if you take out there, so if I connect, yeah, reverse, yeah, just try to look at it. What's your okay, so I don't have so if I roll, yes, and I did your application, so now you will. I did not know there were 949. She lived all about the Digimon. Yeah, exactly. Movies, but I had to good job. What part? That's not fair. It's not true. Tell me the parts we've been talking about. Literally everything.
I understand that.
We don't have to guess.
I know.
Okay, perfect. It's down to.
What's line 3?
Yeah. Okay. So I got one of those. You know what you're gonna do. So I'll send you those.
Unready state changes.
That's it.
So every time the ready state changes. You don't really.
Why are you doing this?
Every time it changes, somewhere between 0 to 8 forms. Are we good with that?
I'll basically do something.
Yeah, let's do that.
That's okay. We don't really need to know what it's doing. Just kind of keeping track of whether or not we're on the same path. Or it's obviously done. This is listening for any change. 1 fire, 2 fire, 3 fire, 4 fire. Let's check. Let's check if it is one part of the so if we balance everything's done, and then it's okay. Look for response. String. So it should be in the right about based on that first one. So it's not going to be that. So right now it's what is that?
What?
Yeah, watch. Yeah.
Nobody should look at that part. So my thing, I'm hoping to do it right now. It's actually. I mean, oh yeah.
I think it defaults.
You're gonna say something from like generation.
Try to make it again.
Fine. Come on. No. Oh yeah.
That was from the silver.
Yeah. So tell her that.
I thought those were like not pretty.
I like silver. I like skin. I have a lot of radio. Hello, Sam, the guy that why is it not?
I think so.
Yeah. Send me a text. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's like 45 with every.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe you're yeah. So
dev is sending in paper content. So what that means is there's several get data.
Oh, that's so good, you're right. Oh. Sorry, man. Thank you. I got all the colors. We're trying to shit on this. Why the hell are you asking? Yeah. I'm working on it. It's not there yet.
Everyone else. To me. Yes. I think that's it's just
Oh, take it easy.
Yeah, you don't even need to.
that's
I can find it better. Are you sure? I like.
What is it?
Yeah.
The problem is, it's not getting.
All the rules are-
most of the time you're watering down.
And it's not even nothing special. It's like,
No. You had no explanation.
Yeah.
Oh, he's done.
Yeah.
It works.
It works.
Yes. I don't know what that's. You know what? What is slash mean? Regardless of the way you say things.
But it's still, it's still that.
I'm a sensitive too.
Hey, don't look, it's good.
Oh, cheap. Good job. Why am I here?
Yes.
No,
Has a post tag has
yes. Yeah.
Here.
You have to add a bucket. This might not know that. Well, really will guess. Anything else?
It's really good.
All this random, like, it wasn't consistent amongst the because like a whole each player and I'm like rapping on the key. Then each player records multiple times, so I had to like read that. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. So like, yeah, some of them are outlined like somehow that but like, I really engage with that.
stop it. I was like, what time is Monday?
Excuse me, Chris?
Yeah, you'll see those. You'll see things like
We didn't teach them, but we never showed mine. Well, we've done, but. All right, well, let me help you. But it is right each side. So you're now. Now you can just write text inside.
She didn't know it. I have fun.
Colon. No problem. But we've done it with because our submit we usually did input. I don't know. Sorry about that.
I'm up at 6:30.
It may be an over.
I know, it's the connecting part that I have to do. I got the list, I got the buttons, now I need to. I know you have to log in because I have events like on, like that, and then one. So you just put all this things. Yeah, because this is the function. So since this is a function, you have to add all the outputs that are available. So when I click it, that's one. So you have to, I don't know how to do that, but I know that's so basically, That's flashbacks. Yeah, because we're not supposed to be like working it helps with some part. It gives you the option to need to go inside. Yeah, I think that's
I would ask you.
Alright, 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes before I go over it. Yeah, that was tough. Whoa. You guys have a bunch of areas. The first thing finding is it's a class. The type's fine. You got a button. And then you got a button.
I saw a button now, but
What is it?
well, it needs to change.
Yeah, so
I was trying to figure that out too.
button master.
Not at all.
You got it sorted out? This is what I have. I know that's like a home check. Yeah. Now, you're down here. Where you are, right? So we have to grab the one. Yeah, that grabs the one. Hopefully I got that one. No.
And then I in here.
Alright. Road from road drive. So this is yeah. Maybe that. Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah, I see that.
All right. Whoa, I'm so sorry about that. All right, welcome back. Wake up, YouTubers. Let's go. Clap your hands if you can hear my voice. Clap your hands twice if you can hear my voice. All right, how did this go? Yay, nay, okay. So pretty, mostly an okay mix. All right, that's great. All right, it's our first day of doing that. Was this fun? Raise your hand if you found it kind of fun. All right, well, if you didn't find it fun, that's going to be tough because a lot of development is going to be like working with APIs. If you found it fun, that's exciting because there's going to be a lot more of this to come. If you didn't find it fun, maybe you will next time. So let's, I guess I can solve this a little bit. Let's like kind of briefly talk about how we would do it. All right, so first thing I'd want to do is maybe do something with a change this to Pokemon, right? And I probably have a button. So I make that. Click for Pokemon. Does anybody else still play Pokemon Go? No? All right. Yeah, cool. My mother is on level 40, so she's like, she's insane. In a good way. Anyway, class. Let's give this a class. Let's call it a tone, okay? And we'll check our work here. All right, we got click for button. Pretty cool. Don't need this anymore. I don't really know why. Oh, because we're no longer grabbing movies. So let's just get rid of all of this. I'll comment it out because I know some people might still want it. Okay. So how can we do this? Let's try it. What's the first thing we want to do? What? I couldn't hear you. Okay, so we could make the XHR, but we only want to make the XHR when. Right, so we want to click that button and then we want to get stuff. So maybe first we want to doing something slightly else, and we'll get back to you because I think you'll know it in a bit.
Define the button.
Okay, yeah. So let's get that button. So let's say let button equal document dot query selector, and we'll say button. And all right. So once we've gotten the button, what makes sense? What should we do? Add a listener. I like that. Button dot add event listener. What should we listen to for a button? Click. Okay, I'm into that. Click, and we'll fire some kind of callback function. And right now, I'm just going to throw in a console log that says button clicked, just to make sure everything's going smooth. Throw a console click. All right. So we're firing. That's great. So now that we're able to do something on a click, what's the next step? What do we want to do? We want to grab stuff from our Pokemon API, right? So how do we start off? Nikki, you had a great idea. What's a good way to start? Perfect. So she says, let's create a variable called XHR or whatever we want to call it, and let's set it to a new whatever it is, XMLHttp request. XMLHttp request. Oh, fills it in for us. How nice. So now that we've got that, what do we need to do with this? What's our next step? Create a function to fire when?
On-ready.
Yeah, so on ready state change. So we're going to say XHR dot on ready state change, and we're going to set up our function that we're going to call. Thank you. Bless you, bless you, bless you. But this is my show, not yours. Okay. Okay. So on the ready state change, we're gonna fire it. Let's figure out what we want to do. Also, when we actually get to 4, right? So we know we're gonna want to fire a request. So we're gonna have to do 2 specific functions on our XHR, and those are, oh, I heard someone say open, and the other one? Send, great. So I'm going to just do XHR.open. I know that's going to take arguments, but I'll do that in a second because I'm also going to do XHR send, and we're not passing in an argument. Open takes how many arguments? 3? 3, 2, whatever. We've experimented with 2, 1 optional. Sounds good. What's the first argument? What does it have to be get?
No.
What else could it be? Yeah, right. One of those RESTful APIs, we haven't quite memorized them in an order yet, so we don't. We are really bad at saying it in unison because none of us know what's coming next. But right, but for this one, we wanted to get because why? Eric, a little louder. Because we want to get information. I like that. Okay, so we got to put in some sort of link now, right? Maybe somebody can help me. I actually don't know it off the top of my head. HTTPS / Pokey dot API or just API? What? Like that? Okay. / API. Okay, I got this one. Pokemon. Okay, cool. Thanks. Pokemon. Okay, here we go. I need a slash at the end? Let's see. Do I? For sure? Let's definitely try it anyway. Oh yeah, and we want true, right? Which means what? Asynchronous. Michelle? That is the word on the street. And we are experimenting first. I believe everyone, because I didn't, like, it automatically filled it there. So, naive me, which may, I literally don't know. I believe everyone, so we probably actually need it. But I'm going to just keep going as if I don't know, because it worked here. And we'll fix it. We'll, back of our minds, might be a bug related to this. Okay, so when do we know that we're done with our request? Yeah, that's a status. When do we know if we're done? 4. Ready state is 4. Also, I think there's actually a done part. You can also do like .done equals true. But that's for extra exploring. So we're saying xhr dot, what was it? Ready state. Camel case, right? All right. Equal to 4. This doesn't necessarily mean that it was successful, right? All right, so what else should I check for? Status, I'm into that. I'm gonna go if xhr. What's a good status? What's an okay status? 200, okay. What's 404? What's 422? Unauthorized. Good, okay, I'm glad we know 404. Okay, so let's do an else statement here also. So it's like, error. Maybe that works, maybe it doesn't. Okay, let's throw in a debugger. I think we've written a lot of code and we haven't done a lot of checking. Refresh here. We've clicked our button. Access to XML Pokemon redirected. What? Error? Does no access control? I don't know. All right, yikes. So maybe it's that slash. Let's see. So here, let's try it again. Okay. So we need that slash, as we organically found out there. Okay, so we're inside. We've had a status of 200. Now we can check. Dot response. Looks pretty good. Looks like some sort of crazy string. Ooh, string of an object. That's interesting. That's a little different than last one, right? How many of us got a little thrown off by that, huh? For sure. I definitely did. Okay, so we're gonna go JSON dot parse. Does that sound good? Nice. That's apparently there is an extra S in there. XHR.response. Okay, pretty good. What do we want from this? We want the, what did you say? Results. So Diana says we need the results because this object's not really what we want. This doesn't look like all the Pokemon to me, and I need my Pokemon. So I said, all right, Diana, let's do it. Let's do that result. That looks pretty good. Let's just check it out and see what one of them might look like. Bulbasaur. Cool. Are we okay with this? Satisfied? What's this? What is it? That means okay? Morteza. Put it in here.
No, the result instead of that.
In brackets right here?
Yeah.
Totally. Fine. Yeah, I actually, when I said I always use brackets, I guess I'm actually kind of lying. Like I do if I'm like iterating through things and stuff, but whenever I'm randomly hitting an API like this, I'm usually using dot. So I unintentionally, I guess not a lie, but if you thought it was real, you said it. Okay, so I like this line of code. I'm gonna save it for later, and I'm gonna look it up. Okay, control copy. Let's go over here. Let's say let result array. Happy? Okay. All right. What's our next step? What do we do now? So now we've got an array filled with Pokemon. Right, we still have these. What can we do? Any guesses? Don't sleep on me now. Yeah, JR.
Define the UL.
Yeah, okay, let's grab the UL. I like that. So let UL equal, how do I get?
Document.querySelector.
Thank you so much. Pokemon, I think we call it, right? Do we remember? I'll check. Looks good. Okay, so now we've got that. What's next? How are we going to get to touch every element in that array? For loop? Okay. Let's go. For let result array. Great. And what do we want to do inside of here? What sounds good? We want to create an element? What kind of element? List item? Sounds good. Document. Dot. Create element. Li. Pretty smooth. What do we want to do with that li? What should it say? What should it have in there? How do we do it? What's that? I like it. And now says inner text. And I'm going to say, all right, and what should the inner text say? Someone wants to throw up a hand? Johnny.
Result array.
Result array at index I. So dot name. Okay. Last step here. What do we want to do? Leo? Append child. UL dot append child. Li. All right. Let's try this out. So I'm going to refresh. Pokemon. Whoa. Yeah. It's working. We just got 1,000 things like that in like 6 lines of code. Well, 13, like 20 lines of code, but like eventually it's only going to be like 4 lines of code. That's great. All right. Any other questions? Great. Everyone's got it. Yeah, I can Slack this out, and there's a homework, and congrats on making like the first API calls that you know about in JavaScript, and have a wonderful night. Okay.